that is a factory also leaves. I don't know if photosynthesis. Now what happens in this or trap when the sun trap the plants trap the sunshine in the leaves using a chemical called chlorophyll. Then that it uses that energy in the process of photosynthesis to make food, to produce food. And that food is what sustains life on this earth. The life of animals who eat grass or eat other vegetables or eat plants, and then the lives of human beings. And so, we can say for a fact that sunshine brings life. Not only that, plants here, as we see these plants, they trap the sunshine and then they produce food through the process of photosynthesis. And the food sustains us. But at the same time also, as it produces this food in that process of photosynthesis, it produces oxygen as a byproduct. And that oxygen is what we live on as air to breathe, to survive. Without air or without oxygen, we cannot survive. So without oxygen, there will be no life for us on Earth. And all of that is also produced by plants. And therefore, the first benefits of sunshine is that it brings life. And you know, area and no buy area normally a producer aduane Miami edi. Na eno achi no esa eboaye ma yenyam frama home if you say emra nnuane no buy green plants no e produce aduane na process na friend photosynthesis no. Na a produce byproduct. I had to say factory bi a produce nneema. Factory a mo ye nneema wo produce nneema. Na ni byproduct so be ho se musie e free chimneys no mo eba byproduct no sa pepepe. Emra plants no produce aduane through photosynthesis no. Na omu produce oxygen mine. Na ya home sa oxygen no na ye de nyankwa tra asase so. Ni nyina no ejina awie ya plants no air trap ya enti no obi anso nim say without enframas ye nim frama yentimi entenase enti akwan etosumienu. The second way that sunshine brings life is that it helps in the production of oxygen by plants. Number 3,
Then
and they say sunshine brings life because it brings vitality to our body. Ede ahomeka eba ye nipadua ahomeka ni ahomodin eba ye nipadua vitality to our bodies, our mind, and our emotions. So people who are exposed to natural sunshine on a regular basis, they are often not sad or depressed. And people who are not exposed to sunshine on a regular basis are often sad and depressed. And this has come to be known as seasonal affective disorder, SAD, SAD. Enti ekwaye etoso miensa awia ede enkwa eba ne se awia nankasa ne de ahomeka eba ye nipadua mu ya tenka mu ni ya adwene mu. Enti no enipa bi ohono mu a omu nya enta nya awia de regularly a eta ema omu buto na omu aye depressed na omu were eta ho na eno no ye wo yare bi ho saa ye friend seasonal affective disorder saa yare no winter mu na saa yare ne taba. Idru winter mu a awo aba na awia mo no na enipa nya saa vitality saa life no nkwa na sunshine de ba no a ubo se no ma wa buto muso na waye omota depressed. Na okọ Scandinavia ho no mo a Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, okọ ho no mo a depression e wo ho pa because ho no omu wo very very long winter. It's nipa na no mu very minya opportunity echo honum be twice. Na me school, me medical school, na me summer jobs. You do summer na me call Norway, na makoye canvassing. Na me nyesika kakra na me aba be pia me school fees. Now, omo na nkasa mo say, oh, yeah, cold people. Oh, they agree, they understand, say they are cold. And pa so no things omo usia na abeka say omo mpe nipa. Omo ye cold because of weather na no omo nya reality no. Omo emotions ni omo vitality, no omo nche ni vitality sa. But to ko be omo na wo so omo ye nipa papa. But say omo no free chair or you cold. A chepa and son will open up to you, they are nice. But most of that is because of the sunshine. And the sunshine brings life in the form of food through photosynthesis by plants, in the form of oxygen through the byproduct of photosynthesis by plants for us to breathe, and in the form of vitality for our bodies, our mind, and our emotions. And so, in simple terms, no sun, no life. So, awia ni hɔ nom a na kyerɛ sɛ nkwa ni hɔ ɛfiri sɛ ɛno ɛma yɛ aduane di awia na ma yɛ aduane awia ni hɔ nom aduane to betwa aduane efi plants mu nyinaa na wɔn gye sɛ awia wɔ hɔ ansa ɛma yɛ mframa ahome ɛna ɛsan ma yɛ nya ahomeka ɛwɔ yɛ nipadua mu ne yɛ adwene mu, and that is why sunshine is the healing ray. Benefit number 2, and it's a sunshine purifies. Awia it purify. How does that happen? It purifies directly as it hits our skin or as it hits any surface. Because awia no our rays will be ultraviolet A, UVA, and UVB. Now, UVA and UVB, no, these are rays that we can't see with our eyes. You see, it is called ultraviolet because it is beyond violet. The human eye sees a spectrum. In the spectrum, the color spectrum now, the last color that we can see is violet. And then beyond that violet, violet, all the different spectrum now beyond violet, we can't see those. And that is why they call ultraviolet, UV. And we have UVA and UVB. Now these ultraviolet rays, when they hit a surface, they can purify. They purify directly by killing and by immobilizing and by detoxifying. Nature say, awia no ankasa no etimi adwodwo nneɛma ano, etimi ɛte nneɛma ho, etimi ekum bacteria ne viruses, etimi dwodwo wɔn. Nti sɛ awia ɛhye biribi so a, na sɛ bacteria wɔ so a, na sɛ virus wɔ so koraa na awia no timi immobilize no, etimi dwodwo no a na afei na ekum. That is the first way awia it purify directly, direct purification. And afei etimi ɔho nsuo, etimi ɛsa ɛte nsuo nso ho. Yɛwɔ ɛkwan a yɛfa so a yɛ purify water, water purification systems a ɛwɔ wiase a papa a ɛwɔ mu no nyinaa no, wɔn taa use ultraviolet rays. Ɛno nti na sɛ wokɔ baabi a nsuo flow a nsuo ɛda baabi a awia ɛmɔ no, wobɛhu sɛ nsuo no na ayɛ ɛbɔn pampan ɛwɔ mu, ɛna afei nso na nsuo no ayɛ biribi. But sɛ wokɔ baabi a nsuo tene na awia bɔ hɔ a, wobɛhu sɛ nsuo no yɛ clean, ɛni ɛka biara na sɛ pampan biara, because the sunshine purifies it. So that is how sunshine purifies. It purifies directly things like water, things like surfaces, and then it can purify by killing bacteria and viruses and removing them from the environment. This is one of the reasons why when COVID came, and the prognosis was that the people were, predicting that Africa is going to be hard hit. Africa, the COVID, and yet it wasn't that badly hit. Yes, it was hit, but nothing compared to what happened here in North America and Europe, because we had 24/7 sunshine, and the sun helped to purify, to immobilize, and to kill the COVID virus. So that's the second benefit. And this second benefit also means that if you go out, say you're quarantine, let's say every other boy who she kind your skin now, it's me a clear your skin, it's me purify your skin, no, from opportunistic bacteria and as a viruses be away your skin and as a way your entire game. It's me kumuno. Say the ya intimi ya so so be that is one of the benefits of sunshine directly to us. It me show skin and as a water it me purify bacteria and viruses. And that is why I call this lecture the healing race. It's a race that can prevent us from getting sick because it will kill directly the virus or the bacteria. Number 3, strengthen your immune system. Sunshine strengthens your immune system. How does it do that? 2 ways. The first way of is strengthening your immune system. The first way by which sunshine strengthens our immune system is that those rays that I was referring to, the UVA and the UVBs, no, especially the UVB, when it hits our skin, part of the vitality now, it's that what part of the vitality that we get from the sunshine hitting our skin directly is that it has the power to activate the immune cells, the immune system cells. Remember, we talked about it. So our bone marrow, they produce these immune cells, the lymphocytes, the neutrophils, the basophils, all those different cells within our body that are made by the bone marrow. Sunshine, sunlight, directly, the rays hitting our body is able to activate those cells and make them more active at protecting us, at killing bacteria or viruses. That is the first way by which sunshine strengthens our immune system. Like I said, if you have soldiers and they are inactive, you don't have any protection. So na sɛ wɔn ho nyɛ den na wɔn ntumi mfi baabi nkɔ baabi a ɛsɛ sɛ wɔn kɔ a na kyerɛ sɛ wɔn ni banbɔ biara eti ɛkwan yɛ edi kan a awia fa so ɛma yɛ immune system nya ahoɔden ɛne sɛ awia no hye yɛ skin no na saa immune system cells na asrafoɔ na ɛwɔ yɛ mogya mu a ɛbɔ yɛn ho ban no na ɛhyɛ wɔn den awia hyɛ wɔn den. And that is the second reason why COVID ntumi nkum Africans and Asia so Asia we are because we have direct sunshine which purifies and kills the bacteria directly, and secondly it strengthens our immune system and my immune system by activating the immune cells to kill the bacteria and the viruses. And then the second way by which sunshine strengthens our immune system is that UVB rays, when it hits our skin, it helps our body to produce vitamin D. Our body makes vitamin D from cholesterol. So just below our skin, your skin, your fat layer, and that is where the factory, vitamin D factory, that's where it is located, just below our skin. And when the sun hits our skin, the UVB now activates the synthesis, and then it converts cholesterol into vitamin D. And vitamin D is known to boost and to modulate the immune system. A strengthened immune system, na afei asa ama no eye adwuma sɛ ne yɛsɛ sɛ modulate no in the sense sɛ modulation kyerɛ sɛ say piano cost run a piano cost say a piano ba form and a piano ba form say man a check-in or among immune system and misbehave. The vitamin D is very, very, very vital. If the immune system is misbehaving and it gets out of hand, you can develop what is called autoimmune disease, where your body is fighting against itself. And so you need vitamin D to modulate that, to prevent the immune system from getting out of hand and attacking itself. That is the second way by which sunshine strengthens our immune system. Ewiano, esabwa ema ye produce vitamin D, na vitamin D no, ehye your immune system na din, ema nya hoɔden etimi de ye na adwuma yie, na afei nso esa ehye no so as etene no. Etene immune system no. Say immune system no kɔ n'anim paa, ohia hoɔden a ɔhyɛ ne din ma ne kɔ n'anim. Ɛna ɛsɛ ɔte na hoɔden nso kakra na ɔkyerɛ no sɛ all misbehave a na on attack itself a. So vitamin D, so yes, vitamin D is a very, very important modulator of the immune system. And a lot of autoimmune diseases, vitamin D deficiency is a big part of it. Now, one of them is very, very common, MS, multiple sclerosis, any lupus. Vitamin D deficiency play a big role. And that is why I say vitamin D is, that is why I say sunshine is the healing ray, because we need sunshine to make vitamin D. Entino obiano, uhia se, unya ewia, na uhia se, vitamin D level. Everybody should know your vitamin D level. It would give you an indicator whether your immune system is working well or not. And so if your doctor has never tested your vitamin D, tell them, ask. Some doctors are now beginning to wake up. I mean, especially family practice. They are beginning to wake up and they are now beginning to test vitamin D routinely, regularly as part of annual physical. The majority do not, because vitamin D doesn't form part of the basic labs that you do for annual physical. Generally, during an annual physical, they check your metabolic panel, check your CBC, and then check your lipid panel. So I mean, so we are annual physical, or doctor will share metabolic panel. I don't know, you share o kidney, or liver, or electrolytes, no glucose, near the other, you share no. We are no I share cholesterol, I share umuja white blood cells and red blood cells and one. But vitamin D is so important. It has to be done. So doctor, yes, ask Bisano. Now on for vitamin D can annual physical every year no checking. It's a level. Vitamin D level no measure 30 to 100 nanograms per milliliter. So in America, higher measure no 30 to 100. That's 30 to 100 no. So immune system no immune system no as I level no above 50 all the time. Above 50 or above 60. Basically, the way what I tell my patients, they say, ideally you want your vitamin D to be between 60 and 90. A sweet spot. Between 60 and 90 nanograms per milliliter. Because say the higher it is, the better your immune system benefits and the better your whole body benefits. Why? Because vitamin D is not a vitamin. Vitamin D is a hormone. Vitamin D is a hormone. To say estrogen, any progesterone, testosterone, now hormone be this thyroid hormone, other hormones, and the vitamin D. It is called a vitamin, but it's a misnomer. A friend vitamin, but in actual fact, it is a hormone. And cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol. When you listen to the name cholecalciferol, that is the real name of vitamin D. It should ring a bell. Cholesterol, testosterone, estrogen, estradiol, cholecalciferol. That is the name of vitamin D. Vitamin D is a hormone. And because it is a hormone, it is involved in almost every activity that goes on in our body. Every metabolism, every function, vitamin D plays a role, either directly or indirectly. And therefore, every one of you listening to me, if your doctor has never tested your vitamin D, please ask them to test. You have to know your level. And like I said, a healthy level, that is what I use, at least in my practice, what I tell my patients. You want your vitamin D to be between 60 and 90. The range is 30 to 100. That is the range, the normal range. But you don't want 30, you don't want 40, you don't want 45. You want it to be between 60 and 90. Then your immune system will be supercharged and you have abundance of vitamin D to affect all your body's function. Until miniano, send American vitamin D a hormone, it is estrogen and also testosterone. In the anam scientino, you may dear kosu ni peduemu bia no vitamin D ka ho. In this doctor and test wo de da bisa no na man test na o test ya na say wo form a as a set o take supplements o no vitamin D supplements na say de be ya wo boost no up na aye akosoro, even though range ni normal range ni 30 to 100, but o pesa wo de no e between 60 and 90 at least e ho na pesa e wo high unya no ho no mo a e be boa ma oni pedua no etimi enya vitamin D. And that is the third benefit of sunshine, why I call sunshine the healing rays. Before I move on, most of you listening to me are Black African and Africans. But I assume that Ghana. And so you even need this even more because this black skin or this brown skin with melanin as a natural sun shield, a body by free area. And that is why Black people don't usually get sunburn. We don't get sunburn, the white people get it. We get darker when we are exposed to the sun, but we don't get sunburn, like typically like the way, unless of course you are on the desert and you are lying there on the desert for hours, then definitely it will burn you. But typically the normal typical exposure, Black people don't get it because we have this protection. What that means is that if you are Black, you need to be exposed to the sun longer before you get the benefits of the UVB synthesizing vitamin D compared to the white-skinned people or the light-skinned people because they don't have that protection. And therefore, almost every Black person has a low vitamin D or is deficient in vitamin D because we don't get enough sun. And if we get enough, our skin prevents it from getting through. You have to be on there longer. And therefore, you need to follow this advice and get tested and know your level. Tuntum for, and then say your skin no, tuntum no. Nyankopɔn edi biribi agu your skin a friend melanin. No na ma ye tuntum no. Na ɛbɔ ye ho ban fi awia nti awia ntimi nhye enshipa ɛma ye ho no ɛmmobɔ ayi. Te sɛ de ye hwie nsuohye agu ho abrɔfo no. Awia timi hye ɔmo ɛma ɔmo skin no ɛbobɔ ayi te sɛ de we hwie nsuohye agu no ho. Yen because your protection. And I'm saying, this awia no what to awia na che ansa na etimi penetrate skin na akɔ produce vitamin D. And I'm saying, tuntum ni bia especially tuntum ni owo esoro ha North America has say any Northern Europe ne dia almost every one of us ubia na say unless say you are taking vitamin D supplement, every single one of us is vitamin D deficient or has low vitamin D. And nuntina me too for say as a doctor testing now who level. That's our level you lower as I say we take vitamin D supplements. Now we raise your level. And yes, we get the benefits of that this powerful vitamin. Make us a hormone. We hear say And also finally, we are tuntum ni a saa skin we no mem paw ho. Very, very, very bad. So the paw protection and nyame di ama wa eba ho ban free say wi abehye no na wo yi free ho. And wo yi free ho a wi abetimi ahyew na wo betimi anya skin cancer because it is protection for you. And don't remove it. So the black people, because of this reason, it is not good to try and bleach your skin. If you bleach, you are actually bleaching off the melanin cover, the protection, and you are exposing yourself to the harsh elements of the sun, which can lead to skin cancer. Number 4 benefit, sunshine lowers blood pressure. A lower blood pressure. And how is that? The research has found that most people who have high blood pressure, they have constricted blood vessels like that. The blood vessel is constricted. But when they go on the sun, when we get on the sun, amazingly, something amazing happens. And scientists still do not understand what is happening. But what amazing thing is that when you go on the sun, the blood vessels open up, they dilate, vasodilation. And like we talked about already, when the blood vessels open up, the pressure drops. And when the pressure drops, it means your blood pressure is dropping. And that is how the sun reduces blood pressure. Some think that the sunshine somehow activates the endothelial cell to produce nitric oxide, which help dilate the blood vessels. But the exact mechanism is not really understood. And if I more high blood pressure, no blood vessel, no say na amua akatrum. In the end, I'm saying akatrum in the pressure no kosoro. Na anwanwasem bi ni se ukwa ewiem na awia hyewa. Ukwa ewiem na unya awia no ahye se ekọ nipadua no na blood vessels no nemu abie te se de yehu no nifa so ka sei. Emu bia na pressure no akofom. Inti se wo high blood pressure awia very, very, very good. That is why me feel we a higher the healing race no, because it can do this. Scientists for but if you know you almost say activate endothelial cells, no cells na something no activate no na stimulate the production of chemical be a friend nitric oxide, that chemical no a blood vessel no. But the property no nti omunya entiase. After number 5, it promotes good sleep. Avia sunshine promotes good sleep. How does this happen? You may ask. If your babies say, okay, avia promote good sleep. Avia promote good sleep no is say a very, very complex system be. It is very complex, a complex, very network of system. But let me simplify it. During the day, even when we share picture now, during the day, when our eyes are exposed to the sun, to the sunlight, when light goes through our body here, then our body now starts a process. Then it activates the body. So sunshine activates our body and sets in motion a process. And then at night, when we are resting, it produces a hormone called melatonin. And this hormone melatonin, it is the hormone that your friend rest and rejuvenation hormone, melatonin. No? Now, interestingly, what the science is showing is melatonin is made at night when you sleep. But the trigger to make it begins during the day. And this is the complexity that I was referring to. When you are exposed to light during the day, and then at night when the lights goes off and then darkness hits, then the trigger is on for the body to make melatonin. And the research has found that if you don't get enough sunlight during the day, or you don't get enough light, you don't get that stimulation through the eye to the brain. The eye, and you're connected directly to the brain. The optic nerve, a part of the brain, a part of the brain. The brain, and so anything that goes through the eye directly stimulates the brain. And so when you get that light, sunshine going through the eye, not looking at the sun, no, but just the light, no, you get stimulus through the eye. The brain is stimulated, and then there is a part of the brain in charge of making melatonin. And so this process is set. It is like you want to cook a dish, and then you go into your kitchen and you chop your onions, you chop all the vegetables, you chop your tomatoes, everything that you need to make your food or your soup. You chop it and you make it ready. It is there ready. The saucepan is on the fire. Everything is set. All you're waiting is for somebody to say, start, go. And then you begin to put all the ingredients together to make your stew or to cook your food. Same thing. When you get a sun exposure, then the process is set in motion. And then at night, when the light goes off and darkness hits, and you hit your bed, then the trigger is triggered. Okay, now begin the synthesis of melatonin. Then melatonin is made. And it helps to promote sleep and relaxation. And that is why if you don't get the sunlight, sleep becomes a problem. Sleep becomes very, very, very difficult. So a lot of people who have sleep difficulty, it is because they are not getting enough sunshine. That's one of the reasons. And secondly, one of the reasons is because they are not getting enough sunshine, of course, and they are not getting enough vitamin D, because vitamin D plays a role in this system. It helps also to promote melatonin production, and then help to stimulate sleep. And what this also means, when you stay awake at night, you stay awake at night, and the light is on. Especially past 10, midnight. Now you're exposed to artificial light. That trigger to make melatonin is affected. It's affected. And so you don't synthesize melatonin as you should. And that is why it's not good to stay up too late at night with artificial light. It will block melatonin production, and it will mess up your sleep. And so person to me the year na joa, and yes, na joa because uni bebia no train, brain no train say ade be sa na waka when you go so na wadum kania no. Now you suma by ni ba but then the brain gets the trigger. Once again, darkness, the eye senses the darkness. No one send a trigger to the brain. Say, okay, time now so. And then the melatonin na just say produce. We be produce na securities na amawaye waiting other. But so what na say anadwo say odum kenia na oda no. Light ni siswa a block us stimulus. Because why do they confused? Artificial, why do they feel say still we are so. And produce now, especially after 10 airco. So one could that's a midnight draw 12 airco now. After the production of melatonin after the neck form complete. And we didn't think you two for say as a cell to me try so that at least 2 hours before midnight. 10 at Burusokra 10 no other. So you can get the benefit of those hours of melatonin synthesis. And this is the benefits of sunshine. All right. So say now let's look at the dangers. The first one we know of is the skin damage. Too much sunshine can destroy skin, and the skin is our largest organ, and it is the most susceptible to sun exposure. Ebetimi ash your skin, and this is what is called sunburn. This is what happens to them. The light-skinned people, this is what they see. Abrofono say you reality mission and the skin are raw. Oh, they say a crew. It me a crew pass. We don't saka. Yet is a crew, and that is why I said sunshine can be good or can be bad. Too much of it, and yes, you better worry, but I say you're careful. It is good to get sunshine, but you have to be careful and know how much of it you get. All right, so it can cause that skin damage. It can also cause wrinkles. We get wrinkles now, apart from the air shield skin, that are also skin damage directly. No, it can also cause wrinkles. And also, the name as so as your skin, no, age them. Direct sunshine and show it me causes wrinkles. Number 2, cause cataracts. Cataracts. So this lens in our eye, direct exposure of UV rays to the eye, direct sun exposure, cause oxidation of the lens. In the oxidation, no cause one a create opacification. No, a create character. Now I say when you try a wisi. No saa no ayɛ wisi no just say yɛkɔ yɛtumi yɛ surgery tumi clean o lens no ma ɔdeɛ but nipa bebree no yɛtumi yɛ na asɛ ne vision no because the cataract na n'ani no so no na akata complete as a light ntumi ɛmfɛ mu koraa ɛna wɔtumi ahu adeɛ nti no wɔn sɛ na n'ani afira nti sun exposure bebree no ebetumi ayɛ akɔ so cataract. Yes, sir. Yes, sunglasses. No. This is why we need sunglasses to protect our eyes from cataracts. Hello. Number 3, skin cancer. Different types of skin cancers. But you say UV light, especially lighter skinned people. And you more poor, and we are able to show also skin cancer. And Nuntina, and yes, you might a Riano Eshi and Bibri, sir. And you hear we are, but in here say Eshi and Bibri. And what can we do then? Now we know the benefits, we know the dangers that it can burn your skin, cause skin burning, cause wrinkles, cause cataracts, and it can cause skin cancer. So what do we do to protect ourselves? If for any reason we are exposed to the sun for a long time, even though you also have black skin, melanin, even though you're melanin, if you are going to be exposed for a very long time, you need to use sunscreen. And so you use sunscreen from the burning. And you true that the sunscreen will block some of the UV rays and prevent you from synthesizing adequate vitamin D. But if you're going to be exposed to the sun because at that time, you are actually in danger. You have to use sunscreen. And as I said, we share a hat. So what you might tell me, women only almost share a channel. They protect you from direct sun. We are not directly. It is all quite real. Sama ya be ye we are starting. Obi a only a cheni be a copibito. Let sunglasses, papa. I wish I protect your eyes and protect your skin. We are not show directly. Now, I don't know. I think the next question. How do we get sunshine? What is the best way to get the benefits of the sun minus the negatives? And they say, the best time to get the sun rays, the ultraviolet B rays, is between sunrise and 11 a.m. Between sunrise and 11. Saa time no enna ukoto awia a eye. Awia no ebe call skin and shiw and prow and cause skin wrinkles, cataracts, no skin cancer. No. So that's the first window. The first window is between sunrise and 11 a.m. And then the second window, no, a less it's a minor season. The major season, no partner, sunrise to 11 a.m. No. And the minor window, no, so after 4 p.m. And so between 4 p.m. and sunset. During the time is when the sun sets around 6 hormonal. But during the time when the sun sets at 8, 9, there's summer in the heat of summer, still around 4, no, that's still it's tough. Then you move it backwards, kakra. The window moves back to somewhere between 6 p.m. and when the sun sets around 8 o'clock. Because if you don't do that, from 11 and upwards all the way to 4 p.m., that's when the sun is at its peak. Some now come a show it's near causal wrinkles in this morning. So between 11 and 4 p.m. is when the sun can really burn you and cause problems. So that's why you want to avoid that peak. And so if you have to be in the sun around that time for a prolonged period of time, and that is why when you need sunscreen, and then you need a full protection. All right. So the healing rays, here it is. Malachi chapter 4, verse 2. Or say, those who fear my name, that's what the Lord is speaking. The Son of Righteousness shall rise with healing in his wings. And therefore, the healing will heal us spiritually. And God has given us another race, which is sun, to heal us physically on this earth. Madam Asimano Esi. The questions be a hard man, you bet me diaba.
Hello, doctor.
How happening?
Thank you very much for the insight education. The question is, now you were talking about the, vitamin D deficiency.
Yes.
And I know that all doctors know for almost Oma test we all seems to have deficiency in vitamin D.
Yeah.
And then vitamin and they seem not to be effective. So what's your take on those of us who take Centrum and other vitamins?
Okay. So for vitamin D, I'm glad you brought this up. Unfortunately, vitamin D what vitamin D2. Vitamin D2. So vitamin D, the original vitamin D, D3, your friend cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol. And a vitamin D2, your friend ergocalciferol. Now so doctor net or trauma or now cogeno pharmacy no. No. And only ergocalciferol. Now ergocalciferol no vitamin D2. And a cholecalciferol the original one vitamin D3. Now D3 and D2 no. Chemically speaking, it is like your right hand and your left hand. Chemically, they are alike by all accounts, except until you try to put your right hand into a left hand glove. Then you realize that, oh, wait a minute, they are different because the thumb is on this side and this here, the thumb is on facing the opposite direction. And therefore, glove with thumb, no. We And that is what is happening. And you know, can I say effective? And effective because the body uses some D2 also. But the majority of the vitamin D receptors, the way you need to do vitamin D3 receptors, cholecalciferol receptors. It is only D2 emmanuel and fiti. Into me patients be bria. Oman vitamin D prescription, 50,000 usually, and 50,000 units once a week. Oman now for about 3 years and still the vitamin D is low because it is the wrong fit. What you need is vitamin D3, which is not a prescription. It comes in the form of a supplement. And no here wow, ama at zero level no to where it should be.
Then what's the essence of the doctor is giving us those prescriptions? And I'm happy that you are giving me this insight. My question back could be say, I know say vitamin D, and much serious symptoms be apart from fatigue, muscle pain, muscle cramps. And now is there any chronic disease via vitamin D deficiency can give to you?
Oh, yes. Send me can first, and like I said first, vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone. It's a hormone. So when you think vitamin D, think like testosterone for a man. When testosterone is low in a man, look at what will happen. Lack of motivation, lack of energy, muscle mass will go down, no strength, only zeal, no drive, sex drive goes down, everything, or then they can be even depressed. And so because it's a hormone and hormones are involved in a lot of things. So vitamin D, in actual fact, right now the research is saying vitamin D is involved in 4,000 functions in our body. It's involved in muscle production and muscle mass, muscle metabolism. It's involved in our bone and the skeleton production, the mobilization of calcium and the building of bone. It is involved in our sleep cycle and the synthesis of melatonin and all that. It is involved in our genetic, how our genes work and operate. Into gene synthesis and how our genes work, vitamin D is involved there. It is involved in our immune system, how our immune system works, how the immune system is activated. Vitamin D is involved there. It is involved in our mood, how our brains work, because vitamin D is linked to the synthesis of three very important hormones. Serotonin, the happy feel good hormone. Dopamine, and also the whole link, and also with coordination movements, with alertness, and then GABA. So GABA no a hormone, I know I say it keep you calm. I know I say the brain no a juju brain I know. And these three hormones, see, as vitamin D is involved in the synthesis of all these three. And without vitamin D, vitamin D deficiency will actually can lead to a lot of mood disorders. Once again, your patients be almost depressed. They're more antidepressants for years, but it doesn't work, and they have all the side effects of the antidepressants. And then when they came to me, we did the test. The vitamin D was almost non-existent. In fact, one of them, when I saw the vitamin D, I was shocked. I have never seen a vitamin D level so low before. A grown man, the vitamin D level on that scale, now 30 to 100, the vitamin D level was 4, single number 4. And he has been walking around with vitamin D level of 4 all his life. And he is so depressed, man. But when we began to raise his vitamin D level, his mood was lifted. And so the depression just gone. And he stopped taking all the antidepressants. and he was back to normal again. I've had at least 3 patients that experience. And so, yes, vitamin D is involved in a lot of things. A lot of things. Okay. My main questions be the first question, I'll say, okay, that won't be a question be about Argentina, doctors on the mouse. That vitamin D2, no, it's a prescription. You know, so generally doctors work, practice conventional medicine. They work with prescription medications, pharmaceuticals, and they are not, doctors are not really trained generally in the use of natural remedies, the use of supplements, the use of extracts, and nutraceuticals. And the training, any prescription. And so vitamin D lower. The prescription form of vitamin D, any D2 now, egocalciferol. That is why they write that for you. Okay. Vitamin D deficiency linked to multiple sclerosis. Yes, I think I said it. I said it before because a immune modulator, multiple sclerosis, a autoimmune disease where your body attacks itself. But for your body not to attack itself, it has to learn. There will be one of my friends says self and non-self. Immunology, my immune system. When they say the Nipediano should be able to recognize itself. Say, oh, so we the miamensa intine yasame attacking. We the miame nine. So when who say mensa or one officer there be and so we the and ya opoku jamfin so we the Dr. Jesse and Sadia and your mammy attacking. Then who as a foreigner now attack. Oh, the body has to learn to distinguish between self and non-self. And that distinction, I know that why prevent autoimmune attacks. And vitamin D is an immune modulator. And no a modulate a training ipedianoma at many etimi a and vitamin D deficiency, affects that self and non-self, how the body learns that. And that is how vitamin D deficiency is linked to not only multiple sclerosis, but to other autoimmune diseases, kind of like lupus, and even rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes. A lot of autoimmune diseases these days gradually are known that vitamin D deficiency is linked with them. Does sunscreen interfere with the body's ability to produce vitamin D from the sunlight? Yes, sunscreen can interfere with it because that is the whole idea. The vitamin D synthesis, is made by the ultraviolet rays, the UVB, and when it hits the skin, and then the skin produces vitamin D. And those same rays, ultraviolet rays, is the same one that can burn you and cause skin burns and cause cancer and cause all of those things. So sunscreen actually sort of prevents the UV rays from penetrating. It protects you against that. And so if you're trying to synthesize vitamin D, then you don't put on sunscreen at the time when you're going to get vitamin D. And that time, between sunrise and 11 a.m. At that time, Rihanna is not so hot, and so you don't need sunscreen. You just go on there, and you're going to get the rays minus the intense heat, and that is going to help you synthesize vitamin D. But if you're going to go on the sun to work, so between 11 p.m. 11 a.m. 4 p.m. 6, and I say because it's 6 p.m. on the times when the sun sets later. That time, the sun is very intense, and you don't want to be in there. And if you have to be in on the sun at that time, that is when you need sunscreen. How long can you be in the sun to get the benefits of healing rays? For us Black people, because of your skin, melanin, you need to be on there for about 25 to 30 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes, good. 25 to 30 minutes, depending on the time. So earlier, maybe around from sunrise to about 8 a.m. or more, then you need to be on it longer. And as somewhere from there 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. now, then the sun is getting hotter, then you can be in it shorter. But generally speaking, for us, between 25 and 30 minutes of skin, you get a good amount of your skin exposed to the sun. You get enough vitamin D. And then, of course, it depends on how much skin that is exposed. If only your neck and your arms are exposed, I won't get enough. But so your arms are exposed, your neck is exposed, some of part of your face is exposed, maybe your chest, your back is exposed. The more skin is exposed, the quicker you make the vitamin D, because all the cells will also be participating in that. All right, where can we get D3? D3, with me a supplement store, a health food store. With me a health food store. Call health food store. That's all vitamin D3, Papa, with me and yabi. Now, so if you know, open vitamin D. Come the clinic, you will be your home. Website now, show now. Pro Natural Wellness Group now. Your website, home, your vitamin D, Papa, or also beat me. I could to be your home. Okay, I think so. That's all the questions in the chat. My name's a question for man.
Auntie, no. Wada Roma. Sisia na ebia me fan say any prescription my, but you say yeah, you free Ghana Abaha no dear. Definitely very lucky. Because sure winter no mu sun rays be over bre then umpie. And what is the dosage? Send a bay I am farmer name also.
Okay. So typically for an average adult, we hear between 4,000 and 5,000 units a day. Between 4,000 and 5,000 units IU a day. And on a very safe dose, I'll be to me anum. And how did we are no anum back with your food? That is how I'm extremely take it, because vitamin D, remember it's a sunshine vitamin, and the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, and so the energy of the sun rises and sets in the evening. And for some reason, I saw it in some of my patients, and then I did some digging in the research. Then I found it works actually. The way vitamin D works, to some extent, as it relates to energy production and sleep, it follows the circadian rhythm of the sun. It helps to modulate you, to raise your energy and prepare you for sleep. Then your energy level will drop naturally, and then your body will relax enough for you to sleep. In some people, and I saw this in some of my patients, like I said, so I want vitamin D, close to bedtime, and I say, bedtime, that is when the energy rising is going to happen. And then you don't want to have that. It's just like an American say, and say, oh yeah, exercise, people who are awake, the same thing. In some people, taking vitamin D at night will actually keep you awake and disturb your sleep, because it somehow follows the circadian rhythm of the sun, because it is a sunshine vitamin or by sunshine hormone. Inti wono nanopa, udidi wi ano anom. Na etimi aye. And vitamin D fat soluble vitamin. Inti udidi anopa na uhia bibi fatty kakra. Ebi nuts bi anase bibi asrade kakra wo. Na odo di no mo a ebe ma na absorb ten. All right.
Yeah, Doc, last question. As will be anka sentimika samo.
Okay.
It okay bibi fan so me right?
Yes.
Aha. Na me pese me hu say obi etuminya condition say or insomnia throughout in the life? And if so, how will that can be remedied?
In the question, no, possible. Let me say that. But the factors, are varied. A lot of factors. And yeah, I mean, okay, say yeah, me patient be sa or catch them say or that 3 to 4 hours a day. One damn bro, so 4 hours. A new patient actually, in there. And the reason no the buy it say na oye adwuma anadwo no oye third shift. Into oye third shift no na say ano ni na no I say opon anopa no beda. Sana afei na emwa no. Ena the doctor catch and say unya sa third shift no ye no eno jaye. We jaye no a lot of years in it or still 15 years in it. Then we jaye third shift no still Nina ayebasa. Nti as third shift now, yeah, no. Now uja no for some reason and mess up the circadian rhythm. Nti mama when ya insomnia bia ase untimi na tembia na ni gusu sa anajo. Idru awia na ni kum. So nti factors no are different. Obia de yankutimi ntimi enka what say na bia na sina obeya obetimi aso anu. Ejina factor produce you factors no na yehwehwe mu a obi ho man insomnia no or iron deficiency ye ka vitamin D die obi ho man iron you low anemia and so one of the things that cause sleep problems so ntimi na obi ho no a or magnesium low ni magnesium you deficient ntimi na obi ho no a ni iodine you low into low different factors and a bit me cause insomnia. It will be a horn or Yarian Casapa as a pathologically or Yarabia, a hand one German intimate. Just remove, maybe put all of that into consideration and sana. It me can say we are not say we are now we now yeah beboa. But the first part, yes, somebody can have insomnia for a longer part of his life or her life because of A or B factors.
I come my last question. Pastor Oka, Dr. Oka Bibi for GABA. Do we get GABA from gabapentin?
It's a GABA no ankasa no dey different.
Mm.
Yeah, GABA by itself no different. Na gabapentin, a gabapentin efa so ye adwuma no somehow influence the synthesis of GABA kakra because GABA no so ye wo enipadua no mu no ye wo accelerators ye wo breakers ye wo niam bi chemicals bi we nipadua mu as activate ye enipadua no ye kikikikikiki and ye wo ebi nso ho no mu a is slowing it down. And that is what GABA does. GABA no need no say one of a slow nipedia down. Inti gabapentin juma sa as it works with GABA. The effect no eboa to say the near SSRI once say serotonin your friend say antidepressants increase SSRI, it increases serotonin. No, sana gabapentin so juma within the synthesis and the function of GABA.
Oh, okay.
That's what I can say. But generally, GABA no the body makes it. It's the body that makes it itself. And if you're eating well and you're sleeping well and the body will make as much of it as needed. And then one more thing, GABA, serotonin, dopamine, and even endorphins, natural endorphins, as a natural pain, kill my pleasure and feel good. So tumrika pa na we now feel good endorphins. no the raw material you make it no every plant food plants until you can say eat 80 to 85% plant food. So yeah, your body will get the raw materials to make GABA, serotonin, and dopamine, and all of that. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. 24 MCC hand you over, Mama.
Yo, Dr. Darcy, Nami Shrow. Say, and then so I'm on coming Yame and I'm also a special message I praying. I've been blessed by it. Now, if you may benefits I want to hear where you be prepared. Did say yen so ya inshra. But inshra yina see a buy and guest mobile. Na memendano. Yen guess more naban yena winina mamo special awards from con. See ume kwaswa na de bia let's always get involved. Yemrason with the inshra mai. Samre ni nyina ebewie. Tienche hono. Mesre na se yenwa bema Philip online yiswa obompaye extra samawia na openi edi announcement no abrey nyabeba Philip Akachi obompaye extra addition somai ewia openi edi announcement as for somai
Ini ano mi fawo uma yabompaye okronkron hini na se enka odi wo oka ye ho na obu wani egu enfom so ho nia ye nyina achi no ukosoa enam kwan biara so etwen eben edin ayi nka odin yedo wase woni a wanam yen doctor so akyerɛkyerɛ yen yesrew mfomsuo bi a ye efri yen free ase fache na twen eben wo maya pomodin soronko yesrew sa yemu bi ewo ohaw bi mu yare bi mu a enam kyerɛkyerɛ so koso akakae ne yemfa nya adwuma na yenya yaresa yesrew se ye free adi kai ma yensua na yenkotungu ma yenye no yofo afi shira yen nua panyin doctor na adetue biara se emreso so oba bekyerɛ a wanya hoɔden adi akyerɛkyerɛ yen nyina ya ba no ebre bi a ya hwere ma ne yen shira ema yen nyina asafo yewa yesrew koso aka yen ho na yensan emehia mu biem shira yen na boboaye ema omaye tosumienu apomodin stronko ena yesre so obi oha na yare bi ewo no so a yesre teno nsa woni so na sane yare wo bra odi sansihye so be ye adwuman ma onhu se nsachrae bi aba ne nipadua mu na odi na se na enkafo edi amaudin yede wase yewa so watie na akoso etie na obetie nda bia o Jesus Christ dimu amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeda Awurade ase ewo baabi a ode aba biduri. Dr. Nyame Shao adesua sonko a Nyame enam so ede ma ye nyina. Abusuafo adofo yenuanom a ye nyina ye kabo mu na nne ye betie Nyame asemi Nyame nkoso enhyira eminim se efri kwasida ebepem ne no ye nyina ya ye nhyira pa. Enu nti ye koso akai se program no toa so akwa Saturday no yebeye no yebekɔ no midday service anopa yebehye yesom na se anopa 9:30 am na awia nso yewie osom na yekoye lunch ni wia na afi awia no yede osom sonko a eno so yebema health talk no bi ede awie na kama na anigisem ne se kwasieda no ensan memenda no so esan eye community guest day a ye to nsa afre ya dofo ya busuafo ye namfofo enu nti obi bia wo lai so anase ye suma bom no ye to nsa afre mu nyina se momra ne yenka mum na yenso na yenkoso enya nyame mu nhira na yenfa program we nso emra awieye ewo anigye mu sene mu nyina mu nim na wia lunch ye be serve ye ho kama aduane bia ewo ho Ghana fo aduane bia ye benya bi ewo ho nti mom ye momoden na yemra afei nso adɔfo a mobɛsra yi ni nyinaa no nso yɛwɔ akyɛdeɛ sonko a yɛde bɛma mo ɛno nti yɛsrɛ mo asafo ma wo a wodi obi baeɛ anaasɛ wa invite obi a ɔbaeɛ no ɔne nipa no ɛnkasa na gye ne information ɛma yɛn sɛ ɔwɔ Albany ha ɔni Albany ha monye ne information ɛma yɛn na yɛtumi ama obi biara ɛnsa aka no na kyɛdeɛ ɛwɔ saa kwan no so nyame yɛ adom a wei deɛ ɛyɛ announcement ɛkɔma asafo ɛma asafo mpanyinfoɔ ɛyɛ church board members no nyame yɛ adom a Friday fieda anwummerɛ yɛwie program yi a yɛbɛpɛ sɛ yɛbɛhyia kakra na afei no yɛtumi ayi meeting kakra bi nti yɛsrɛ mo moma yɛ nyinaa nhyɛ ne nso Friday anwummerɛ right after program yi yɛbɛyɛ saa meeting no nti church board members no moma yɛ nyinaa nyɛ ready ɛna committee no a yɛatete no nso mpanyinfoɔ a moda no no moma yɛ report no ɛnyɛ ready wo a monhyia no yɛsrɛ mo monhyia na yɛtumi adi saa nkɔmmɔ no ɛno nti nyame enhyira yɛn ne yɛpɛ sɛ yɛsan ɛkae yɛn ho ne sɛ yɛ program yi no from ɛnɛ yɛahyɛ ase a yɛ streaming wɔ YouTube ɛno nti sɛ wokɔ YouTube a wobɛnya program no ɛwɔ hɔ ɛno nti moma yɛnhyɛ no nso yɛ streaming wɔ YouTube yɛ YouTube din no ɛyɛ Albany Ghanaian SDA Church wokɔ YouTube a wobɛnya ɛde afiri hɔ yɛn nso address a yɛsom ɛwɔ hɔ no baabi yɛsom address no ɛyɛ 281 Washington Avenue Albany, New York 12208 281 Washington Avenue, Albany, New York. Ɛno nti ɛhɔ ɛna yɛn nyinaa yɛsom. Wobɛduru hɔ a yɛ asɔndan no ɛyɛ Russiafoɔ asɔndan ɛhɔ na yɛsom. Ɛno nti so ohu sɛ Albany Russian Church a ɛhɔ na yɛsom. Nti ya na mama ɛno no anyɛ ama mo ansan ankɔ yɛda mo ase. Fellow brethren, friends and family members that join us today, we want to say thank you. We appreciate your presence. And your presence has been a blessing. And we thank God for how far He has brought us through this health, awareness, and emphasis week that Doctor has been giving us this spirit-filled message. And we are continuing to encourage each and everyone that the program continues all the way to Saturday. Saturday, we are going to have a midday service that starts from now 9:30 a.m. So we are inviting each and everyone should join us for our service in the morning. Then the service will continue all the way to the afternoon, where after the lunch, we will crown it with another lecture, a health lecture that will also be a spirit-filled experience for all of us. So we should all make it part of our program or part of our schedule that we should join us in this program. And the Saturday also happens to be a community guest day. We are inviting friends, everybody that we know to join us. We are going to have lunch. There will be various type of dishes there. We will all gather round table fellowship together and talk to each other as friends and family. So please join us this coming Saturday. And we are reminding all church members that the program is also being streamed on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can also watch the lectures that Doctor is giving starting from today. Unfortunately, we couldn't start from Sunday, but tonight and the rest of the days, all will be streamed on YouTube. So let's take note of it. Then the church board members, this coming Friday evening, we are going to have a church board meeting, a short church board meeting right after the lectures. So let's all make a part of our plan that we can all meet. God bless us. Nyame unshine na omaya hoden sa adom ninti. Amen.
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 Wajiri kwa ni abe nyina ye ho mespa.
Sie din titimui Yehowa nhwe. Amen.
Amen.